they're like to her, like probably close to her waist. Like they
Oh,
are
are you talking about Michelle
beautiful.
Brown?
Yeah,
Yes.
Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to Michelle the other day. I said, Michelle, I don't know, is laziness like a part of the journey? She said, listen, when my locks got about your length, I said, forget that. I'm going to go get those retwisted. So here I am looking for somebody. Help me.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they're in like North Dakota, Fargo, I will drive
Wheel
to
drive.
you.
I think I'm gonna go get professionally done palm roll, and then I'll retie my hair every month or so. But
This the thing, Bree. I have to ask my sister, but she is a beautician and is a loctician near you.
oh, really?
And my cousin. I got folks that can hook
Okay,
you up. So if
okay.
you
My
need
daughter
that,
needs to go somewhere too, and she said
yeah.
so.
Oh yeah, my cousin Pippi will hook you up, style you and everything.
Mm,
Like
I just
ASAP.
gotta get my pockets ready because
Yeah.
look, I'll pay for greatness. I'm
Let
just.
me I'm about to text her right now.
you know
Okay.
anybody out this away?
Huh?
You know anybody out this away?
Are you
Mm-hmm.
gonna start the journey?
I've been thinking
I
about
I
it though.
don't know nobody that away. I don't. I mean, the thing about Houston is that most of my family on my mom's side, mom's father and mother's side, some of them, relocated there after Katrina. So
Oh,
Mm.
I'm in Dallas.
you're in Dallas.
Yeah, I wish I was in Houston.
Damn, I thought you were in Houston.
No,
How far is
It's a
Houston?
minute. It's like
it's
5 hours.
yeah,
Five.
it's about 4.
Oh
And
my gosh.
it's some time on
So
my
that's
hands.
when you make a day or a couple of days. Like you
I
might as
love
well. That's
I
like
love going down there too. I love Houston.
Yeah.
The
So
talk.
there's a new book black owned bookstore that opened up in Houston. I think it's hold on, is it called Mahogany or something? Is that it?
really there's a mahogany books out here.
Yeah, I forget it's like black. Oh shit, I need to text. I need to text Keisha. Anyway, so our family we can't be bougie. Of that bouginess, we have we have a cake lady. She does the cakes for our whole family. She now has linked up with it's called Brown Sugar Cafe. She linked up with this black woman who has this really popping bookstore. It's really awesome and it's cool. They have an online presence too. And she does all the sweets and the pies and everything for the bookstore. So y'all
Ooh,
should go check that out. It's called Brown Sugar Cafe.
my little sister just moved down to Houston, from Nebraska, so I need to go there before I start working a couple weeks. So I might have to hit them up.
I've been wanting to visit Texas, so and Bree's trying to make me go to Texas.
And you said you're not coming, so I
I
can't go
can't go by
on that.
myself because I'm a different person. Columbus is different than Texas, and I'm just my mind ain't right yet to go to Texas. My mindset.
Listen, my mind is never right when I go. I'd be like, whoop that trick. Like that's the first thing that comes in my mind because I'd be like, set it off. You know what I mean? Like, but because
But it's
folks is
Houston, so you gotta slow
crazy.
it down. You gotta slow it.
Yeah, folks is crazy. But I feel the same way about being here up north. Like these kids in these big ass like 4x4 trucks. I
Mhm.
almost got out of my car and like thought that I had the ability to fight this like 6'10" big ass white man. I thought like I was like, yeah, I got
You
a
could
bat
have.
in the car. I'm gonna take him down. Like this is what I thought. Because he was just being out of pocket. And I'm just like, you out of pocket at 7:10 in the morning? Like, you really gotta chill out. Like, you out of pocket this early?
Yeah, it
Like,
happens.
let me
Patience is
see.
like thin. Not a bad. It's so at
Mhm.
this point. Monty. Oh, well, welcome everyone. We were just like talking hair and talking all sorts of stuff before we start talking about the Good House by Tananarive 2. So,
Yeah, my book is in my bedroom, and I'm not getting up to get
My book is upstairs, so
My book is on my mind. Roaming the streets. Okay.
So we just
Mhm.
having conversation.
Right.
So how y'all doing? Monty, stop.
I'm tired.
Oh
Monty, I think you need to go home. Or if you are already home, cut off the devices. Get you a little baby, and not I hope, it's the shade for me. It's the slick side shade
I know, right?
for me. On Twitter, I posted I forget it was Sadie, want to read it because somebody recommended it to me. I don't know what's going on, but they recommended it to me because of the like different formats I like.
Mhm.
And then Monty said some slick shit to that. I was like,
I saw that, and I'm like, you really want to read that?
I was
Okay.
good luck. I'm like, it's like, I wish you the best.
Did you feel that road rash?
I did. I was like, I'm struggling. But I get it. I get it. That's how I feel when people be like, oh my God, the invisible life of Addie LaRue. I'd be like, good luck.
Oh, yeah. Good luck.
I haven't read it. I don't have a desire to read it.
When you say you haven't, you got plans?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't read it. I have no desire.
Yeah.
And when I saw it come out, I was like, and I read the synopsis, I was like, I don't care about
I
this.
was like, oh, this book is
Yeah.
not for me.
So anyway, so y'all want to introduce? I mean, I don't know why y'all need to introduce yourselves, but feel free because I think everybody here knows who y'all are by now.
Yeah.
I'm one of the breeze. There you go.
How dare.
Mhm.
Oh, on the screen. No, I'm just kidding.
I know. I'm
She's
sorry.
Bree with the 2 E's.
I'm Bree with the 2 E's. Yep.
Yep.
It's
Bree with the 1 E. Which is actually not an E, according to my mother.
Well,
wait, what?
yeah.
Yeah.
My mom got it in her head that because people call me BRI online, which is actually, if you think about the spelling of my name, it is correct. My
Mhm.
mom has never used an I. Like she always wrote Bree on all my shit. You know, you had to go to school and say what's yours. It was always an E. So she assumed that I was riding with these white folks who are using the I, and she switched her game up. So she got a tattoo of me recently with an I, and I was like, Harpo, who woman is this? And she said, how dare you say that to me? And I was like, I'm trying to figure out who this is because this ain't me. Ain't them white folks in Minnesota? Them what? Huh? What's them white folks got to do with my upbringing? Huh?
Right.
Where on the internet is there BRI? I said, I feel victimized. She said, well, that's your name, damn it. You go ahead. I said, you got to erase that. Something over the top. Like, this rude as hell. Like, I said, now I'm going to start telling people, your name is Walter. She goes, oh, God, yeah. Because Sheila and Walter sound the same. Since you out here trying to put an eye on the player. Anyway, I digress.
All right. So, who wants to sum up this book? I don't.
Bree.
Yeah, Bree.
Which one?
With the one.
Wow. I was like, are you calling yourself out? All right, okay. Big Bang P. No, I'm just kidding. Y'all ever seen that girl talks about like anyway. So it was on the TikTok. Don't need to explain it. But okay, so this is a story that's called The Good House. Now, there is some historical context attached to The Good House. It is a physical representation, meaning that it is actually a house. So in this house, there is a grandma who she's out here doing root magic to boil it all down. Put a dash of voodoo, a little splash of hoodoo. You got grandma, right? She out here doing altars. She out here making offerings. She's out here trying to make sure our spirits are aligned, right?
Mhm.
But one day, she does something that probably grandma shouldn't have did, right? So she's married to this indigenous man, and this indigenous man is like, "Look,
Look.
what you doing is bad medicine, ma'am. You're doing bad medicine." And she said, "Look, Papa Legba told me I can come forth." And he like, "Who Papa Legba?" And dude, he's trying to get her to be like, "Yo, don't go follow these white men. These white brethren, they tripping. They tripping." She said, "I gotta save him." So she went and saved him, and then the curse started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The curse started, and she woke something up that she shouldn't have woke up. So then you follow her family, the descendants of grandma, who unfortunately, it was unfortunate event after unfortunate event after unfortunate event. And then you figure out about the last living descendant of grandma. You figure out how she's coming to terms with like her ancestral history, her ancestral magic, and what she got to do to make things right.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
that was
Let the church say amen.
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 I feel like I left a lot of shit out, but that's really what I
That sums it up.
yeah, without spoiling it.
So
Content warnings, check them though, for real.
yeah,
Yeah, check
definitely.
the content warnings for sure.
So I'm just gonna put this out there before we talk about how we enjoyed or didn't enjoy the book. There will be spoilers. So if you haven't read the book and you want to read the book and you don't want spoilers, feel free to dip out and come back when you've read it. But if you don't care about spoilers, feel free to stay. That's all I have to say. So I like Tananarive do. I feel some type of way about this book.
Hmm.
Hmm. Tell us more.
um,
Because if you say something out of pocket,
I was waiting.
you
and I
say
don't
something
want
out
to
of
say
pocket about my auntie Erica, we're gonna have to hit the streets.
no. It's not even that. I feel, and I guess we're going to talk about this because I know Brandy and Bree didn't like the ending.
I loved it.
Oh,
Wait, Woodbury.
Brand.
Me, I didn't like the ending as much.
Okay, so I feel some type of way about the ending, and and I feel like I might have missed something that made me not like the ending.
I can get that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I feel like I had it up until about chapter 30-ish. And then I'm reading the last few chapters.
Mhm.
And I'm like, wait a minute, something didn't click for me to get to this last part.
Last part.
So, and that's why I say I feel some type of way about the book, but it's not like I feel like I didn't like it because I did enjoy it. It's just that the ending didn't. It's like the ending came out of left field and was like,
It was. I think it was just
That
so
was
abrupt.
the
I felt like I wanted just something else, just something obvious to tell me something. It just seemed like it ended just like that for me.
yeah. So would you think, Bree? Or should we? Or either Bree? Bree
I'm
with
looking at
double
Bree.
E.
Bree looking
Bree
at
with
me.
double E.
Which one?
Bree with the double E.
Come on, Cherie.
I enjoyed it, and I've read
Oh.
My Soul to Keep, where
Mhm.
Tananarive does what she kind of does in this book, where there's time hops without telling you it's
Yeah.
going back in time, right? She's not going to be obvious and say like 1954 and start the chapter that way. She's just going to jump back in time.
Love
You
it.
kind of have to follow along with it. The ending, I thought, was great because it was meant to be like that, where you went through this whole journey of this story, and then she switches it on you last minute, and you're supposed to just catch on.
What in the
Oh,
world
I'm so
is
sorry.
going
I'm
on?
so sorry.
And so I thought it was just like one of those type of things where she's just trying to mess with your mind, and that's the point of like horror in general. Like they really try to mess with you, but I enjoyed it. I had to read it twice to make sure that I wasn't just like losing it, but I really enjoyed that, and it left me like, oh my god, did what I just read, did it actually happen or did it not happen, or what's going on? But that was the point. That was the point.
Like,
I know people want things, like they, a lot of people are not going to like it because it wasn't as obvious, right? So I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too. It was just the ending, and I think for me, it was mostly just trying to get through that first chapter because that was triggering for me because that happened to my cousin. So it's like it broke me. I had to set the book down, but I did pick it back up, and I really enjoyed the book. I love the structure of the book. It's just the ending. I wanted just a little more, but I still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bree with the eye.
Oh, you did.
If you care about your edges, Erica, you will tread lightly. Okay. It's like, do you not like enjoyment? So what was the question?
What did you overall think of the book?
Well, I like Tanana. That's pretty much sums it up. I wish I could get more in depth and philosophical way of saying it, but is that philosophical? Is that a word? I don't know, but I do enjoy Tananarive's writing.
Yeah.
I think at first it took me a couple books to get through. I'm gonna be honest, to really like enjoy the way she fades to black on moments that you would assume is climatic. Does that make sense? Like you would assume that shit is about to go down, and then you're left with your imagination. Imagine being left to your own devices, and then trying to figure it out. She's like, look, this is a 1,000-piece puzzle piece, because we gonna get a book. She gonna give us pages. She gonna give us close to 500, if not over, right? And it's like she give us this 1,000-piece puzzle, and the last two, she like, you gonna have to figure that out, and you're like, wow, great.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about her writing. But to me, I think it's done well. Like once I got used to how she does it. I will say this book, while reading it, I kept thinking like this must be a book or one of those books that's really hard for a lot of people, because it has to do with like a lot of intergenerational like trauma. There's a lot of tragedy, heavy on the on-page suicidal ideation. I mean, not suicidal ideation, suicidal attempt and completion. Heavy on the sexual assault, being in the mind of a person who's planning to sexually assault someone, could be very triggering for somebody and put them in their body without their permission, honestly. So while reading this, I was like, wow, these are some hard parts. I don't know about anybody else, but Tananarive is not an author that I can read quickly.
Yeah.
This is my first book by her, and I couldn't read it quickly. It definitely has to take time to read.
Yeah, you have to take time. Like even I just started today The Blood Colony. It's book 3 of the African Immoral series.
Yeah.
And even reading My Soul to Keep, you're reading it and you're like, shit. And then you get to The Living Blood and it's just like children and other things involved. Like I think as a parent, that series alone will be difficult to read. Just saying. Just I'm gonna set y'all up.
Well, thanks for the
Um,
heads up.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
that
even Auntie Bree was like, hold up. I had to pull it back. So it's one of those things where it's like, she don't hold back to the very real realities of life.
yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and a lot of times, even when you're reading it, I think what would make her books really horrific is that the things that happen to the protagonists in this book happens to Black women all the time. They
Mhm.
are stalked, they are preyed on by their partners, and oftentimes law enforcement. Sorry, I got a lot of little gnats. Oftentimes, really, y'all really on my eyelash? Y'all really got to chill out. So oftentimes, law enforcement is not there to aid them in situations when they need them. And even in this book, you saw that like every time a law officer, sorry, was trying to assist this woman or try to help her, something happened to that law enforcement.
Hmm.
Law officer, not enforcement. So yeah, I hope I made sense while also trying to kill this fly. I don't know about y'all, but when they start flying near me, I get murderous.
It's understandable. Yeah, you made sense.
Yes.
And you're right. It does deal with a lot of trauma and the the suicide on page and thoughts of suicide and all the death and not all of the death, but just the trauma that takes place in the aftermath of it. And I thought, I mean, Tananarive do is not is not an easy read by any stretch of the imagination. And if you go into it thinking, oh, I'm just gonna get, my run of the mill horror or haunted house or vampire story or whatever it is that you're reading by her, you're gonna be like, whoa, I need to take a step back.
Mhm.
Um, because it took me, we started reading this in June,
Mhm.
and it took me, because I had to take breaks, it took me the entire month to read it.
So for my book club on my Patreon, we had The Good House,
Mhm.
and I think I'm the only one who's finished it. And I feel like next time if another Tananarive book is chosen, I'm gonna
Mhm.
be like, yo, we got 3 months to finish because it's
Right.
Mhm.
like people are like, I can't pick it up. I don't have the headspace. Like they enjoyed the writing, enjoyed the prose, but it was just like, it's a lot, and it can be a lot to me. The difficulty of the subject matter, not talking about the writing, but the subject matter is very on par with Octavia E. Butler. I can't read her fast. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I don't know how people read OEB fast because I read 4 of her books in a row in 4 months, and that was a year and a half ago, and I haven't been able to go back and finish it. I
Mhm.
just felt so exhausted and burnt out by the constant, like, just hardship of Black folks in her books. And um, how do I say this? I'm not trying to say this to sound rude at all, but like for me, I just be wanting to read books, some books by Black authors where the character just so happened to be Black. I just want to have a break of that real everyday thing that we go through, because books is also supposed to be a form of escapism. So
Mhm.
it makes it hard. Like I was looking at some new releases and they all were like, oh, this Black woman enslaved and this Black woman went through this and this. And I was like, I 100% believe that those stories need to be told,
Mhm.
because for so long we were not even given the ability to tell those stories. It was once illegal to read and write, so we're in very privileged positions, and I do think stories like that need to be told. but goddamn,
Hmm.
Yeah.
you fill that in. So I
Right.
just, there's only so much um of a specific type of narrative that I can take. And I'm not trying to encourage any authors out there who are writing their book and it's a black person or black people and they are dealing with historical trauma. I'm not saying that that legacy is not still living within all of us, even us on this screen. There's probably times you're like, damn, that's a remnant of, whomever in my family. But just sometimes I just want a little joy or just
Mhm.
something that's not reminding me of the difficulty that associated with me being black doing an activity that I enjoy, which
Right.
is reading.
Right.
I hope I didn't say that fucked up, but
No, you said
how I
it. You
feel.
said it perfectly because I feel the same way. My family there is generational curses, um, and like with me and my husband, we have definitely broke that cycle. I will continue on doing that. It's just for me. Sometimes I'll read a book about that, but sometimes you're right. Like I don't want to read it because I still face it in my reality on a regular
Living as a black woman,
basis, and it's sometimes I'm tired.
exhausted.
I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and sometimes I just want, like you said, that joy and about, being black, about, the best things about being black instead of like all the trauma and stuff because we're still living in it.
But unfortunately, Black Joy doesn't sell
Yeah.
to the masses.
Hmm.
Say that because Black Joy is thought of as not existing.
And the black trauma that get popularized to me be having problematic points in
Yeah. And it's also, and we're going to get back to the book. It's also Black trauma is perpetuating something. Like, yeah, it brings up things that maybe we haven't dealt with as a community, but at the same time, it continues to perpetuate it, and sometimes oftentimes I think in a negative way.
Hmm.
yeah.
So it doesn't it's not presented in a way that allows us to heal or begin to even or start to make sense of the trauma
Hmm.
so that we can start to heal.
Yeah.
I Yeah, I think then I agree with Brandy because the end of the book, I kind of wish that we got more chapters of her being in that world and experiencing that happiness.
Hmm.
And I wanted her to make a wish of bringing her son back. And the
Yeah.
fact that that didn't happen, it kind of hurt me. I was like, girl, get your son back. If they out here giving you a wish,
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm thinking like, was there really a happy ending? I mean, what was it? I mean, that's what we would hope, but sometimes in a lot of narratives, especially when it comes to black stories, sometimes there is no happy ending at the end of the day.
and that's done intentional,
Hmm.
even though it put all of us in our bodies without our permission.
Hmm.
Right.
Um,
Right.
that part I read that, Monty. I hate the surprise third act of trauma. I'd be like, you couldn't have edited that out. That's how I feel about um and we got some notes of that in this book. That's how I feel about sexual assault. What is the reason to explain it graphically in a book?
Mm.
I'm sorry, I know I'm not an author, but that is just something I don't get, like, especially in fiction. Like, what's the point?
That's
Yeah.
that's
I
a great
don't I
question.
don't understand. Like, is that I don't know what that gives. Maybe I have some ignorance that I need to unpack in the writer's world, but I just don't understand why you added that scene in your book.
It's
I have
That's
also
a
my
very good question.
hypothesis, but and I think we kind of all know the reason it's
Mhm.
it is definitely to appeal to a certain group of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, so that's why it's there. It should not need to be there, but it's there because it has to appeal. So, what did you think about? Well, no. Who was your least favorite character, and who was your favorite character?
The dad was I did not like him.
Yeah, the dad. What's his name?
Tariq.
Tariq.
Yeah, Tariq.
I'm gonna have to say it was grandma, and I love grandmas, but I'm gonna have to say my least favorite character was grandma.
She did start the whole thing.
Yeah.
True.
She's the epitome of the dangers of as quiet as it's kept in the Black community.
I
Yep.
love.
And that, and when I was reading it, and I was like, if I ask this question, I'm gonna have to figure it out because it's between Tariq and the grandmother, and I'm gonna go with the grandmother too.
Cause I'm like, what was the point? Like, I get so frustrated, even though I understand historically
Mm-hmm.
why our elders and our ancestors didn't pass things on. I understand that survival instinct. I understand because the literal act of them saying nothing is why we're here,
Right.
right? So
Mhm.
I understand it. But the fact that it lives on today pisses me off because I'd be like, literally, somebody could have told or said something about cousin blank who's touching the kids at the cookout.
Right.
Like, and then we be like, oh, it's quiet as it kept. Why is that quiet?
I
That
don't
needs to be loud. There needs to be somebody with a microphone screaming about literally predators in the family.
That's been in a lot of books, even like the love songs of W.E.B. Du Bois. Um, I don't, I don't know. Like when my mother was growing up with my grandfather, who I don't talk to, I'm just not comfortable talking to him or being around him. He beat my mom. He beat my grandmother, but they never said nothing. They just kept letting it go on and continue. And I feel like back in the day, I don't know why, I just feel like everyone kept their mouth shut because it was just better that way. I don't know why. I don't know the logic of it, but I know for me, I couldn't do that. Someone's gonna end up being gone.
I'm sorry, y'all hear these incessant ass dogs. What I remember one time having a conversation with my aunt, who is one of those people who do share. She's not like grandma in this book. She does share. And I asked her, like, why is sexual assault so rampant in our family? Like, why does it seem like it's acceptable? And she essentially was like, you got to step outside of your lived experience and understand, your grandmother was born at a time where it was literally a death sentence to be an unmarried woman.
True. Yeah.
And a lot of times women had to accept whatever man they got because being a Black woman at that time, they think it's difficult now being a woman. Then a lot of rights and opportunities they didn't have. So I'm looking at it with my like 2010 brain on a situation that happened in the 40s when they're not comparable.
Right.
Right.
But even knowing that, why are we still in
So
2022 still operating? And I understand how trauma sits in a body. I get it. I am a trauma focused therapist. I get it. But we need to start having conversations about this pain, because if we don't, curses don't get broke, healing doesn't happen.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I went through something personally. I told my parents about it, and they brushed it aside. My parents are in their 60s. and they literally just ignored it, acting like nothing happened. It hurt me.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm past it. Like, I love my parents dearly. I forgave them because it was for me.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I think, like, why would you sweep it under the rug? Or like, if I bring it up on like my social media, why are you embarrassed or something? Like that happened to, like, I guess one of the members at my mom's church brought it up because I mentioned it before, like in one of my lives or whatever. And my mom was like, "Why would you say that in public?" I'm like, "Why wouldn't I? It's my experience. It's what happened."
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't gatekeep your experiences once you're an adult. And
Right.
it's also like a lot of times what I've learned with my family is that nobody said anything to them when it happened to them, so they're not gonna say anything when it happens to you,
Right.
because it's like they're literally acting and giving you the same energy that they was given, rather it's unconscious or it's a conscious thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's not to excuse it. It's reality of certain things.
Yeah.
And it's painful and hurtfulness. And like, it's just a lot of secrets with this grandma that she could have told her child. And I'm not saying she would have prevented her child from completing suicide, but
Mhm.
there's things that I think that could have been passed on and then passed on to her granddaughter. And the thing is that I'm like, you saw what happened to your own daughter. You
Mm-hmm.
didn't think like, maybe let me get this shit together and be
Right.
better with my granddaughter. Like that's what my grandmother did. Not saying everybody has that capacity, because that's another thing we have to, acknowledge that some folks just ain't got the capacity. The trauma is too difficult, and the act of talking about it, even bringing light to it, is too overwhelming. But that's what my grandmother did.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be in Dorothy ear, like, Dorothy, we gotta have a conversation. So it's just, there's things I felt like it could have been said, and I don't remember the suicide being reversed and he lived, unless I lost something of the book.
I didn't
Yeah. I
get
didn't get that.
me neither. It was just like something, it ended abruptly, and it was
And
left up to the
this
reader what happened.
it
Yeah,
was left up to assumption, where the son came back and they were back on the
On
4th
the
of
floor.
July,
Yeah.
he was alive, and etc. So you're left to assume that maybe she used her wish and things went back to
That day.
that
Yeah.
day, or normal, or whatever the case may be.
And
But
it also, that last part reads very much like a flashback.
it
yeah,
Mhm.
So,
agreed.
and that's why I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah, I was like, is she now reminiscing on a good day?
Yeah.
I assume
Yeah.
that she used her wish and went back, or not back, but
Like it went back to that day where all that stuff that happened prior to that wish just was
right.
gone, like
Yeah.
erased.
I
Yeah.
wish it was a follow-up book, but
Yeah.
I understand why it's a standalone, but you're left to assume. So
And
Yeah,
I think that was really clever of her. Because I don't necessarily need my books wrapped up in a nice neat bow and everything laid out and explained at the end. I don't necessarily need that. Uh and I liked that she didn't do that. I
mhm.
didn't like I said, I didn't particularly care for the ending. Um because I did feel like I was missing something.
Mm-hmm.
Um but having said that, even though I do like and appreciate that it wasn't a nice, neat ending.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Monty, it is.
yeah,
Ambiguous.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. There
So
was a
yeah,
lot of ambiguous
yeah,
spots in the
Right.
yeah,
book, if
Mm-hmm.
I'm being
there
honest.
were. Yeah, there were. So this was a question. Um, who was sexually assaulted? There was,
No, go ahead.
I know, wasn't the mother? What's her name? Dominique.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how Angela came to be, right? From a sexual assault. Or am I getting my books mixed up?
I don't remember.
I don't. Now I'm like second guessing myself.
No, I don't.
I
The
could have.
one I remember vividly was like in the last battle.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. But okay, so I have a question about that one. Was that individual real? What was her name? He was supposed to be her girlfriend, his girlfriend at the end.
I should have grabbed my.
Corey's
Wait,
girlfriend.
are we talking about Corey's girlfriend
Yeah,
who got into the dad? The
yeah,
spirit that got into the dad?
yeah.
She wasn't real. What?
That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking because she was there when Bo was pulled under. Bo was like, I've never seen her a day in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Corey and Sean have seen her.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I thought she
So
was like a hanked or like a spirit type of thing.
and
I
see that
thought she was too.
Yeah.
yeah, so did I.
Mhm.
I didn't think she was real, but the spirit that was inside the dad,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think he was real. He was plotting. He been
Right.
plotting for a minute
Mhm.
to assault this lady.
Right.
And he couldn't get access to her until Corey did what he did. And my thing is, Corey wouldn't have done what he did if grandma would have shared some goddamn information and then shared it to the daughter, and the daughter would open her goddamn mouth.
Right.
Mhm.
Like grandma.
Since there was a timeline, right? Like she had until this year to be able to fix the curse, right? So, I mean, like you said, it's
I mean, you were
not sharing. Like it's harmful. It's
right.
so harmful to our community.
Um, I just wanted to touch. I saw this more about the grandmother and her background. I kind of didn't. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't need that. I think it was fairly well. I think I had enough of her background.
Right.
Um, but I mean, I understand. Would I've liked to have known a little more about her personality. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know that was even necessary.
Personally, so I don't know Tananarive's spiritual practices, but I'm assuming that maybe they don't know a lot about the hoodoo and voodoo culture.
Mhm.
And I think if they gave us more, because if they gave us more, they would have to give us more of that as well.
Yeah.
Then it would have led to parts of the book being not authentic
And then
and inaccurate. And I think I wouldn't have liked that.
yeah,
Mhm.
And
I agree.
yeah, I'll agree with that too. And just going on, what was that book that we read together, Brie? My soul to
My
take,
soul to
keep.
take. It's
It's the
take
first.
or keep. It's the same.
Take-
It is
Take
both of
is
the
the
books.
last.
Take is the
The
last
fourth
one.
Okay,
First
so
one is to keep. Jessica.
keep.
Are we about to talk about Jessica? Because I don't want to talk about Jessica. I still want
Oh
to
my
fight that
God.
girl. I'm
No,
on book 3 and still want to fight her in the streets.
no.
She's still around.
Annoying as hell.
We are not going to talk about Jessica, but I mean, because I haven't read anything other than the first book,
Oh,
but
yeah.
she Tananarive was very, in my opinion, evasive with some of the um the immortal, how they became.
Yeah,
And
which clears up in book 2. Book 2, you
so,
get it. You get
and
the gaps that book 1 had, like that ambiguous stuff that we talk about that
Mhm.
quite, apparent in her writing. Book 2, you get the business.
Okay. So, and I think that's just, I think that, and I shouldn't say this, but because I've only read 2 books by her, and I'm wondering if that's just kind of like her trademark with her with her books, that she is not, um that she's ambiguous and
This
doesn't
is
go
yeah.
into a whole lot of detail and lets the reader do a lot of inferring.
Yeah. I mean, I just finished maybe a month or two ago her book cuz I've read a couple, but the one that's rent free right now is The Between.
Mm-hmm.
Um
How'd you like it?
Yeah.
I tell you, it
I
was a
just bought
journey. It was a journey, but it wasn't like a bad journey. But it was good. It was good. I was like, wait a minute, who is this a living being? Is this a spirit? Like, what's happening? And like, Tananarive always jumps time for time. You get no warning.
no
Yeah.
warning.
So, Monty, this is probably not the author for you. You get no warning, and fade to black be up in there. You know what I mean? Just living. Just
She's
how
Yeah.
they are.
That was another thing, like the non-linear movements of the book. I was like,
yeah,
it at times I just got whiplash.
yeah.
I was like, whoa.
That's what I was saying earlier. Like you just have to keep reading, and then you realize, like, okay, you jump back in time.
Yeah.
That's how her writing is, and you're left to imagine a lot of things, and to just assume. So
Yeah. So for me, that was unclear. Like I was like,
Yeah.
the flashback. Is this us just going to the best day of her life? The fact that I sometimes I'm a literal person and I need you to literally
help.
say
Mhm.
what things is. Listen, my brain don't work like that, which is crazy because I love a fade to black. I'd be like, yes. And
yeah,
then I'd be like, well, damn, if I'm supposed to, I'm not supposed to understand this next chapter. So it's one of those things. So.
right.
Double-edged sword. Yeah, because there is a difference from a haint, to my knowledge, and a demon.
Mhm.
I'm thinking a haint is like just a tricky spirit that could, and um, you can infer that the trickiness is malicious, but it's just a tricky spirit. What do y'all know?
I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I know them as like trickster spirits, but
Yeah.
can present in physical form.
Yeah.
So that's how I know them.
Yeah.
So
And
that's what I mean, like in the book, it seemed like she was really trying to get Corey to do certain things.
lay it down on her and smelling
Mhm.
like sewer juice. I'm
Right,
like, Corey, how are you into this?
right. Yeah. So I don't know if she's a demon or a haint. It's not clear. You're left to assume, um, what's going on, but you can definitely tell that she was some type of spirit or demon or something.
And I
Smelling like swamp ass.
Smelling swamp ass.
and I think that that's because she doesn't say whether the person is a demon or a haint, right?
That's why I said you're left to
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah.
I think it would depend on, maybe that was another clever move of hers, because depending on where you're from and your knowledge, you'll perceive her as one or the other,
Yeah.
and that could influence your reading,
And
maybe.
I
Yeah.
and I didn't get any, and maybe my memory is failing me. I didn't get any direct link to that girl and the demon. I thought she was like a helper for the demon.
Yeah.
Or maybe I
Yeah.
misunderstood that.
Yeah, that's what I
You're
thought.
right.
And is that the same one that and this is, I got confused here too. when the 2 officers were killed, and
Sad, man.
Mm-hmm.
the girl, she's dressed in white, and the female officer, and she feels kind of bad for her. She's got these great eyes, and she says that she's sorry. Is that the same one that Corey was supposed to be involved in?
I thought it was.
That's what I thought too, but I just wasn't sure. What do y'all think?
Not not Stewart, Stephen King.
Yeah. Yeah. Jessica was an anyway. If you haven't read My Soul to Keep, read it.
That's
Hello, Alicia. You're
with. Like I don't think The Good House is a good book for people to start with as far as like their first introduction to Tananarive Due, because
this was my first read.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would recommend The Between.
The Between.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Why?
I would recommend The Between because it's not as, I mean, there's some some things going down, but it ain't going down in the way as The Good House or the African Immortal series.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Like the African Immortal series, it's like, look, strap in, make sure your seatbelt is on, and we are going through it together as a group, you and I, author and reader.
Okay.
And that's what The Good House gave.
Okay, I'll probably read that. I'll read that next then.
Yeah. The spirit. Yeah, I got that too. That could jump from person to person. Okay. I have to stop that train of thought real quick because this came to my mind. So they're in, see, where are they? In Washington State somewhere, right? All right. And what is her name? The actress, whatever.
I
The
forgot
actress,
her name.
I forget her name, but
I
yeah,
forgot
Poor
her
girl.
name.
Poor
with the
girl.
dog or whatever, right?
Her dog.
I was like, she really holding on to this dog.
I know. That's what I was like. Wait a minute. Okay, so your little ratty dog went missing. No offense, because I do like dogs, but your little ratty dog went missing, and you gonna stay someplace, and you were found in the basement.
Fucking delusional girl in a delusional world.
You know what? Crate my dog, Angela. Send my dog when you find it. I'm out.
I just,
I ain't staying.
I'm not even gonna, I don't know, I don't like saying dumb, but that's the only word I can think of right now. But I like Tananarive dumb characters because they be out here just like, in what world where you're like, yeah, this is a place to be. I'm gonna go back. I would say, okay, I'll buy Tito. It was a good ride. We had a good time. You supported me and your time of need, Tito. But that's it, Tito. We've come to an end. Like, dog owner, we're done. But I also understand that pets, are like their children. I feel that way about 4 of my plants. So I totally get that. So, like that guy right there, I love that guy. You know what I mean?
Beautiful and big. Jeez.
Cute. He about 6'5". So it's like, I love dude. Yeah, dude. My favorite uncle had a stroke, and my friend sent me this plant, and it was like literally a feet tall. And I named the plant after him, and I use it as like healing medicine for myself. And I'd be like, Arthur, what's up? Look at you sprouting. How dare you get 2 leaves this month? You out here showing out. You showing out on the gram? That's what we do. So I totally get the love. But
I want to say her name was Naomi.
Naomi
is Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
she was a B celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
A B,
probably.
But I was like, man, I don't give a damn about that dog.
Yeah, you woke up in the basement, I would have been out.
And I'm out of here.
I'll go get another one.
I'm out of here. Y'all send me the dog when you find it. Go
I
Summer.
don't really know inches, so I hope this means like a feet. If that's not it, somebody need to whip my ass.
Well, yeah, it was a lot of white folks in the town.
Mhm.
I
And
mean,
listen, the lady at the corner store was about to get these hands.
oh,
Yep.
Fictional hands.
okay. So I had a slight problem with the timeline because, and the reason being, in 2001, Grandma Marie would have been 100 and some change, right? She had her daughter Dominique, and they kept saying something about 1929. So 1929 was a pivotal year. What's that child's name? Miles, adopted grandmother or mother in 2001 was 90 something. And if y'all remember when the spirit was being cast out of the little girl, it jumped to the
Angelique.
dog. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm like, wait a minute. The timeline is a little off to me. So am I missing? Am I missing something? Like,
No, I think it was like, to me, it implied like there was a lot of magic and shit that happened that she didn't share. Like, even at the end, when she was like, hey, let's talk it out a little bit, grandma's like, what's in the past was in the past. And I was like, fight her in the spiritual world. Like, just go ahead, get your lick. You know what I mean? Get your lick. What's she going to
yeah. Okay.
get your lick? I don't know, man. I'm not trying to say I'm out here,
Trying
there's
to fight.
just certain, I will fight a grandma. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, I just, like, Graham, I think, wasn't one of the white ladies in the book called somebody else a negress? Or was I?
Yeah, I don't remember who that
I
was.
remember.
And I was just like, yeah, fight her. Like, God.
Yeah, because I was like, wait a minute. I saw that and I was like, excuse me.
Yeah, it was
And
just
she just and Angela just kind of like let it go. Was it
and they're
that was
like, oh, we loved your grandma. She was the best Negro in town. Like, like, and this Negro gonna give you these hands, these Negro hands. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
And
you're gonna
that's
get a lot of
really
Negroes
how
today
white
to the
towns
face.
are. From experience, that's really
Yeah.
how white towns are. There was a lot of black trauma in this book, right? Our black experience
Lot of
trauma, which will categorize as horror if it was a genre. But that is how white towns are. I've personally experienced that myself, and that's how
Yeah.
that's really unfortunately how they talk.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Joplin Ghost is also good. I'm about 20% from the end. It is good. I will say, out of all the books I've read of Tananarive Due, it is the slowest
Okay.
How long
as
is
far
it?
as pace. It's like the same amount of The Good House, maybe a little less.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Not more though.
but
So, okay. I'm gonna let y'all talk. Y'all talk about whatever you want to. I gotta go do something real quick.
She gotta go pee, y'all. All
mhm.
right. I got a question.
Um, if you must know, yes, I do have to go pee.
She said I gotta go do something. Front to back, Erica. Front to back. Okay, so just kidding. Okay. I do have a question.
back to front.
I have a question about the two love interests. Did y'all see any similarities in them?
As far as
Like, of how they treated her?
I'm trying to remember.
the two males, what was it, Miles and Tariq?
Mm-hmm.
I hesitancy of wanting to rekindle, the other one just trying to constantly push away. Miles kind of pissed me off half the book.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
So I kind of checked out with him.
Yeah.
Yo, just stop.
Mm-hmm.
But
it kept giving me like possession,
mhm.
like on both
Yeah.
ends in different ways, and I
That's
was
what
just
it was.
like, she's her own woman.
Yeah.
Any decision she makes, listen,
It's
that's on her.
Right.
hers. It really is hers. You can tell that this book wasn't, I mean, from the time that this book was published, which was what, early 2000s,
Mm-hmm.
you could tell that there's it was definitely early 2000s because
Right.
there's a lot of social reforms and different things and like just awareness that we have done in the last decade. So even though that there's all of these problems, like you said, possession, wanting or not wanting her during certain times, like the women's rights movement happened well after this, because you would think that she would have a choice in a lot of what she was trying to do and a lot more support, but she didn't have that in this
That was not given.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I okay. I'm not saying let's go to the negative. No. Was there scenes in this book that you felt was unnecessary? I'll go first. I thought was unnecessary was the scene with the dad and the car with that kid.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
Necessary.
Right.
There was a lot of scenes that just did not have to be there. I'm just like, what?
Yeah, there were. And I think the book probably could have been cut by a good 100 or so pages. Like there were things I appreciate that, at the hotel, Miles and what's her name, Angela, were having a moment, and he ended up falling asleep in the chair. But I felt like that whole scene could have been like, oh, Miles came over, he was tired, he fell asleep in the chair, woke up the next morning. It could have been over. There was a lot of stuff in there that didn't need to be. And there were times that, I mean, because of that, I was just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I got bored. The writing is great, but when you do I want to say great? It's better than good.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's better than good.
Erica, I don't know. We could be friends after this.
The reason why I say that
Delete
is
my
because
number
of all the scenes that didn't need to be described that much.
Erica, it was a product of its time.
Okay.
It was. That's what we were talking about. You can tell that this book was definitely written in the 2000s. So
most Black folks who wrote in this area was trying to describe every goddamn blade of grass.
Very descriptive. Very descriptive.
Super descriptive.
And I felt like, and I enjoy her writing, and I felt like I could visualize that. That's what I look for when it comes to authors in their writing. Like, can I see myself there and experience all the horror elements as well? Am I getting creeped out by this? And again, her transitions to going back in time, I personally enjoy those, because it doesn't make it obvious. She really does it with the fact that you just need to catch on. Right?
Yeah.
You just need to catch on. And I know people are going to hate that, but like, nothing is handed to you when it comes to her writing. You have to be there. You have to picture yourself there. You have to be open to imagination on what is happening. You're left to assume what's going on, and so you just got to catch up with her. Like,
Yeah.
She
we
definitely does
back
not
here,
spoon-
you got to catch up. She up here, you just got to catch up.
Right.
Yeah, she
Mhm.
definitely does not spoon feed you.
No, not at all.
No.
And
No.
and if you, I'm almost out.
Wow.
So,
In here with nothing.
I know it's gonna be a dry house. So that is unacceptable. But anyway, if you're not there, like you said, Bree, if you're not there, you gotta figure out how to catch up
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she's not gonna spoon.
She's not gonna. Yeah.
at all. I will say one of the scenes that I kind of was like is when the tree fell. I don't know why.
Oh no, I was so
I
sad.
was just like,
You're like, uh-oh.
that tree has memories.
Yeah,
Has
Mhm.
been through some things and it collapsed. And I know she
Yeah.
forgot all about it, but I'm thankful that it collapsed rather than her having to cut it down because it went through its own little process of, dying off, so to speak.
Mhm.
But I was just like, oh,
Every time a tree
fuck
fall,
that
man,
dog.
like,
But
I
that
gotta
tree-
no. Every time a tree fall, I'd be like, yeah, I gotta fight somebody. I gotta release this energy. But yeah, that did touch me because I was like, why y'all have to take it down? But then I was like, maybe this tree has like,
Like it's a
it's on its
significance.
last
or
leg.
something.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I'm so glad that Tananarive do actually let the tree fall rather than them cutting it down because it really is that rite of passage. Like, I'm done. I'm on my last leg type of
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
And when we're talking about, spiritual things like hoodoo voodoo type of thing, like it has to go through its own little phase for it to be finished. And I felt like, okay, that was on its last leg, but I was so sad about it. Like, I didn't care about the dog at all. I was like, why they
little Timmy should have went out there. Okay, little Timmy went out there and became a snack. You know what I mean? Like
became a
little
snack.
Timmy should know. Why would you
Yes.
training Timmy? Timmy said, "Look, I'm out here and I'm for the streets,"
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
and then became a part of the streets.
Exactly.
Right.
But that
Yep.
tree, that got to me. I was just
Yeah.
like, oh,
I
that been through some things, some generations, and it's
yeah. And
Yeah.
I like what is it? The lands, and the mud and stuff. The connection with the land was
Yeah.
and I think about how particularly people of color, and we're gonna narrow in on Black people, how we ancestrally are very connected to the land, just in
Yes.
general. And how I liked how she incorporated that because I mean, even if you are not, like deeply rooted, so to speak, you know, just just by inner whatever, that you're connected to the land.
Our
And
indigenous practices are a theme that is consistent in every book that she writes.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And so and I appreciated that she incorporated that and she made it such a big part. Even though they were in the house and the land literally came in the house, even though it wasn't it was kind of, do I want to say evil?
Well, the mud in the bathroom was because of the mudslide, right? Like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
The mudslide.
kid.
Yeah, it's like the house took on whatever was happening.
I didn't think it was evil. I think it was giving her a sign, and she
Mhm.
took it as a scary thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's just me because it felt like I'm trying to give you a sign because even when that thing came in there, it was that nature was protecting her to get her to where her grandma's real altar was at.
Exactly.
And then, okay, let's take a little side. I wanted to fight her. This is why. Like, I get you not knowing your culture, but there's no way my grandmother passes and she has an altar, and the first thing I do is tear her altar down.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That,
What
no,
the fuck?
don't do that.
I saw that
Don't do
sentence.
that.
And she was like, she got rid of the altar.
Fast.
Yes, I was like, oh no.
I said, oh, she.
Yeah.
That's
no.
some anti-blackness within her. Like, I was
Right.
like, some shit's going on. Like, you said, what?
Yeah,
There's
because
no way.
she even said something like about the first thing that she did because she was angry with her grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I'm like, but girl, do you know what you just did?
I'm sorry. Maybe it's because I'm from New Orleans, but I would never, like,
never do that.
never. They pass away, and I'm like, you know what? That altar gotta go. Like, girl,
And putting it out with the trash.
what in the garbage? The smitya.
And
Like,
I was so that right there, I was so through. I was
she
through with her.
She came in and she said, you know, basura.
I was
And
like,
she
did I
threw
read
that shit
this
in the
wrong?
garbage.
Absolutely.
I
mean,
had to
how
stop
you-
reading
don't-
when I read that.
you just because you may have disagreed with her life and her lifestyle, I just felt some type of way about that. I was just like, that's just not something that you do.
And it wasn't even just that. It was like everything in the house. She said, I'm gonna come in.
Like,
And
yep.
I said, girl, this house was built on the backs of your ancestors. And you just said, fuck them. Like, that lets me know you just a disrespectful ass motherfucker. Like,
Right.
just in general, you have no respect.
Yeah, and when I read that, I was like, okay, wait a minute. That front door that the grandmother and her grandfather, or maybe not her grandfather, but anyway, the indigenous man that she lived with that was riddled with buckshots, because the people there didn't like her and didn't think that she should have this great big old house on top of the hill overlooking them. You know, that was just like, you have really 100% disrespected your grandmother and this man that kept everybody together.
Right.
That bothered me.
That didn't seem so.
I was like, this is Jessica behavior.
Oh my god,
I can see. And now that we
can't wait to read
just
that.
want to say this about Jessica.
I gotta read it.
Quick.
The moment y'all read it, if y'all are not texting me every goddamn minute, I'm gonna feel like it's anti-black. Like, I'm gonna feel that there's a hate crime. I'm gonna need to be in the group chat.
I need one more book and then I'll have the complete series.
I have to read it now.
Right,
y'all bringing up Jessica. I need to know.
Listen, I'm telling you, Jessica. I haven't met one person that has liked Jessica. One.
She was adorable. She was the sweetest.
Shut up. We're done.
If I'm a dude, if I'll never snitch on you, daddy, was a person, it's her. It's her. This girl just did not care. I said, you don't care about your children. You care about nothing, girl. You just doing anything for this man who has a little accent. Not you fall in love with Antonio Banderas.
Right.
And yes, Monty, you got to catch up and overly descriptive at the same time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is extremely talented.
Yeah.
Of a writer. Like, how can you be that descriptive? I feel like I'm there, but then I'm chasing after you, trying to catch up with you at the same time.
Yeah. Listen, my Nikes were never strapped up enough in some part. like I'm not gonna lie. I can see how what I'm about to say would annoy a reader, but there's a lot of things in my life I just let go. Some of my friends be like, Bree, I need you to be more pissed about that situation. I'll be like, whatever. But like, there's times in this book and every book I read by her when I'll be like, you know what? That's above me now. Next. Mm-hmm. So I'll be like, it's above me. That got nothing to do with me. All right, cool. Got it. Understand?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I kind of took a lot of the scenes like that as well, where
Sweat,
it just
signature.
you just turned on the air.
I'm sweating.
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, Angela is your least favorite character?
Wow.
Oh.
I get that too. I get that
Yeah.
too.
I can see that.
Yeah.
She should have been opening the line of communication for her son.
She should have
Right.
been open for it. And the thing that with Angela and going back to the altars is like, you know that your ancestors or family members practice this,
Mm-hmm.
but instead like you've shunned it away, like you're not even receptive to it. And it took her more than half the book to be able to
More. It took her to the last
For
goddamn
the
chapter.
whole book.
almost the whole book, right? Like to actually be able to like, okay, let me meet her where she's at in her religious beliefs and spiritual, and actually think
Mhm.
that this is a curse on the house. Miles was kind of annoying too because he didn't believe, he wasn't,
Ooh,
Miles.
But but I was getting annoyed with her being like, I will fight him because he don't understand. Baby, you just believed 2 seconds ago. Now you want
Right.
this man to be on board?
Right.
You better give him some space, girl. Like what you just found out. You still got baby milk just hanging on that tongue. Hanging on that tongue. Chilling. Similac is with you. You are one with Similac. And now you're gonna get mad at him because he confused.
That's true.
Both of y'all
I
out
mean,
here.
and that's the thing. Miles was annoying, but he was annoying in the sense that, and okay, he was annoying in the sense that yes, he was using logic, but he was also using a Christian logic.
Yeah.
It's
And
the God in me that
Yeah.
pissed me off.
yeah,
Right.
because in a Christian logic, what she's talking about doesn't exist.
Mhm.
Right.
So we can't be on that page because it doesn't exist. And no matter how much he saw, because she even said it, you don't see it. And no matter how much he saw, he kept going back to logic and Christian logic.
I kept saying, bro, white Jesus ain't pulling you up out of this.
Exactly.
Right.
He ain't pulling you up out of this. You got to do some groundwork.
Yep. And wasn't he adopted by a white lady? Yeah, because the lady, yeah.
Was he white?
Yep.
I don't remember.
I don't remember it being white, but
Yeah, because the white people, when they came up to the house, to have the demon or the spirit removed from her, she's they're saying that lady was the girl.
Oh, because she was the one with the spirit removed out of her body. His mom.
Yeah, his adopted mother, because his biological mother, father, I know for sure, was killed. And I think his biological mother was also killed, and she adopted him.
Maybe I didn't make that connection.
me neither.
Yeah.
I might need to go back to that because I don't remember that.
Yeah, it says it because what's her name?
At least.
Because she has Alzheimer's, and whenever she sees the phone number come up, she thinks it's Grandma Marie calling.
Yeah. Mom should have knew what was up when he was laying that down and Grandma was just in the middle. At the door.
I forgot about that.
Grandma said,
right there,
yeah, but you lifting that leg, baby. She was
that when he was like, Mom, and I was like, Mom,
I'm like in the middle of coitus, you land it down and you see moms? Oh, I gotta stop the press.
Yep.
It has to end. Like I said, you should have known then, and she was saying shit that wasn't real right. I would have said, yeah, the spirits up in here be The spirits
see,
up in here.
Oh.
even then, like, I mean, Angela was asleep, but even then, because she was like, oh yeah, Snook, something about Snook, and I was like, okay, wait a minute, that's what Tariq called Angela. So
And
this,
I'm just like, how he don't know that?
yeah,
That's the thing that you should know. You out here detector gadget and shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, you should have known that, partner. Like, what's I was like, this dude, Angela is crazy. I wanted a scene of her whooping his ass and then going to save the day because I just needed just a couple minutes of just bop, bop, with him. That's all. Because he was just annoying me. I'm like, you cannot be this ignorant in this case.
Mhm.
We're talking fictional. I don't want nobody to think I'm reaching.
Jessica is a messy kind of character, by the way.
Jessica is a hot mess. Jessica is probably, apart from Dana and Kindred by OEB, is like, oh my god, I hate them collectively. Hate them. Can't say, because this is my thing, Dana. Side, because I'm tangential. This is my thing, Dana. If it was on me to continue the line of my people, and the stipulation is I have to be nice to this white man who is literally owning my folks, abusing me, then we gonna die together. Right together. We all dead because I'm poisoning that baby in his sleep. Cause I'm gonna have to head the fuck out. I'm talking about dearly beloved. We have gathered here today to pay tribute to the hundred of descendants that magically passed away. Because if it was up to me, we dead as a group. We in the afterlife chilling as a family. One sound, one goddamn band. Now, if it was up, me? Oh, we dead. I hated that shit so much.
Can't wait to read it. And
I gotta read it.
October for Black Queen-a-thon. I'm gonna read the whole series. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Read what whole series?
The African Immortal series.
Oh, girl, good love.
Yeah.
I'm trying to read Blood Colony, Blood Colony now, and then.
Oh my gosh.
Try to read that fourth one in Black Queen-a-thon. That's how I'm trying to do it.
It was actually purposely. Yeah, but you know what? And I'm not making excuses. Let me preface that.
Where this bottle of wine came from?
I know, right?
What? What?
Is that a second bottle?
Yeah.
No, it's the same one. It's the same one.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I could go get another one.
I feel you. I got it. I might holler.
But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, well.
And I ruined it. I am so sorry. Big Mouth Nancy over here.
I think she was blind to a lot. Obviously, she learns, and fixes it. But I think that's the importance of passing down those religious traits, right? Like, if kids don't know what an altar is, right? If they don't know certain belief systems that our ancestors did, like, how do you just gotta eventually be slapped in the face and pick up on it. So we watched her do that, unfortunately, but she knew, and she was just ignorant to the fact that,
but Corey, her son, was open according to the book, whereas Angela was closed off. And so Corey had dreams, but Angela didn't have any dreams. And I thought that was interesting, because we always talk about how kids are malleable, whatever, and they
Oh,
see
no.
things they see things that we as adults don't see.
Mm-hmm.
And
Damn, we adults.
Right.
unfortunately, remember when we used to be like, I can't wait to be an adult.
Nope.
That's some
Right.
trash shit. That's some trash.
Right. So I'm like, man, what was I thinking?
Like, I take it back.
Yeah.
It's
No, but
so
Angela
overrated.
didn't even like when she was a kid, right? Like that wasn't something that she necessarily. I mean, she was around it, but it wasn't her spiritual practice or her belief system, right?
Yeah.
So Corey, I think it talked about why he was able to see dreams. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe Angela was denying it or something. I don't even remember, to be honest, but I know it talked about it a little on why it skipped her and went straight to him.
And that was what I was wondering, because I feel like I missed that, because that was a question that I had. Why did it skip her?
Seems like she closed it off.
Yeah, I want to say like
But
because she didn't want anything to do with the house, the family, etc.
Mhm.
Like I want to say she basically closed it off, but I don't remember.
And
I wonder if it's one of those things where, you know how there's a lot of immigrants who come to this country, and they don't teach their kids their language or
Mhm.
their culture because they're afraid that they would be treated differently, be bullied, all those things. So oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes, the way to acculturate to American society is through assimilation. And then, it leaves that gap of identity because the parents did it out of fear and took it away from that child out of fear. I wonder if that's what grandma did. Like, she was like, look, this is my magic got me here. Maybe it's better that my granddaughter lives in ignorance and she doesn't have to be attached to this. But grandma didn't anticipate Corey.
Yeah,
and and she didn't teach her, and I think that's why she felt that she could throw away the altar, because
right.
there
That's
was
what I'm
no.
saying. Like she grew
Right.
up not knowing,
Yeah.
right? Not practicing.
So um when you
But,
don't know, it's
but did
easy.
she grow up not respecting her elders too? Because
Yeah. Yep.
I would imagine, because I mean, come on now, let's be realistic, because Grandma Marie in 2001 would have been 100 plus. So when she was raising her, she was, you know, pretty old. And not saying that she didn't care, but she didn't have that kind of energy.
Yeah. But it's important to pass down information.
Yeah.
Like Bree was saying earlier, like keeping quiet is just flat out hurtful sometimes. Like people
Well,
should
yeah. That's what Angela did, and that's you saw what happened to Corey.
until the end of the book. Then it changed. But we're left to assume. I really wish there was a second book.
Yeah. So, Monty, I mean, I'll say it's a good book. Will it be something that you would enjoy?
I don't think
Just
so.
in general, I don't think so.
I think you would have DNF'd it on like the second chapter.
If that long. If that long. So, I mean, if you like if you like this kind of writing, because it is complex. It is a complex.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Right.
It is something that you
Yeah.
definitely have to take your time with and process.
You might have to eat at least 4 boxes of tagalongs to get through it.
Tag along.
If listen, I'm telling you, Jessica was a part of the Cullen family. One sound, one band. That was her.
God.
That was her.
Sorry, I gotta read it because
Because like even her parents was like, who the hell are you? Did we raise you
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this? Even her parents were confused by her actions.
Oh my.
Even her friends, they like, you trust this mug? He has a little accent. I said, not you getting wet in the pants for a little rolling of the R.
Yep. That would, and to digress to my soul to keep, when somebody falls off a goddamn ladder and they literally heal the next day.
Right.
Right.
That ain't been sick.
You're like, wait a minute.
I would
He
have been
was
I
busted yesterday, but today he's fine.
I would have been packing my shit and saying, I don't want nobody fucking with me in the streets.
I was just like, okay, all right.
Not you calling us white women.
I was like, wait.
Just saying.
Yeah.
We're white women, y'all.
I ain't never said I can't wait to be an adult. I ain't never said that.
You never said that too?
Not when I was a child.
The thing is, I didn't say an adult. I was like, I want to be tall enough to ride this ride. I'm tired of my cousins out here doing the Lord's work. Now I'm 6'1". I guess I shouldn't say that shit now, but when I was younger, I just was pissed off about not being able to do certain activities that my oldest cousins got to do. And I was like, that ain't, I'm about to be 10. Like, chill out. I was like, grown woman now.
Yeah.
From the grimoire book. Right, and why was the grimoire hiding? Right, like
Yes.
that was the information that she needed, and I wish it was in a room, in table, side table, the kitchen, somewhere. Like, why was it hiding and had to go through that?
Why did she have to rob Paul, beat up Samuel, holla at Alyssa just to get the goddamn book?
Exactly.
It had to go through a lot.
Exactly. She should have had access to it. I wish grandma exposed her to, her workings, right? To help her with the curse. But
and then what was the point of after she leaving the room for the grimoire, the altar room to be destroyed? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I thought that you know how the leaves, the dead leaves were like all in the house?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it bothered, okay. Maybe I'm gonna have to
Was that part of the horror scenes that kind of creeped you out?
No. It bothered me that Miles was still like, oh, there are leaves here that weren't here, but
should have shot dude. Like, she had so many times to shoot dude.
He's annoying.
I just don't get why she didn't shoot him. Like, the whole time, like, shooting, in the knee, choke him up, grab something, hang his head, shoot dude.
Do
And
something.
the fact that she didn't shoot dude and they had a sexual tension, I said, in this economy,
You're right.
you expressing sexual attention in this economy?
Yeah, he was annoying.
I was just
They were both blind to, the curse itself, like that something was happening. And tell the little boy, the neighbor kid was like, it's a curse, and told her. Then she started to realize, like, okay, there's something going on here. But they were both ignorant to the fact that there was really something happening.
But the whole town was actually ignorant to something happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So,
well, some people were.
The little white lady that did the plays, I forgot her name. She told her about the bathtub and what happened. Like, she knew. The kids knew. So
that was something that was passed down, and then somebody said that whoever that was, that lady Liza, whatever her name is, said that they lied about the bathtub, that wasn't true.
Yeah.
So it's like people were like, well, Angela was like, well, what is it? But it's just the whole town, like, they forgot, or Do I want to say they forgot?
Or they just
I'm not. I don't want to say they forgot. They just decided to look the other way.
right.
And pretend like Grandma Marie did not just exercise some child, and this child is now living, but without a care in the world. And I wonder if that's why she lost her, why she ended up with Alzheimer's. But whatever. So
I just feel like another part of the book that annoyed me, and probably nothing to be annoyed, but I gotta speak my truth. And it was when her and Miles, the sexual tension was high, and they went ahead and banged them skins. I said, "Where this man is on the hunt, and you know he's on the hunt." So you said, "Fuck my life, fuck Miles' life, fuck everybody's life." That's what you said. Right. You said, "I'm gonna get this nut, and then I'm gonna let the chips fall where they may."
It was like, building, Brie. It was building.
I'm like, why would that be on your mind right
my
now?
thing is, the shower heads exist. Fingers, clean nails. You could have trimmed those holes and did the Lord's work. Cleaned underneath those beds and got yourself to your happy place. But you had to put this man in danger as well. You said fuck everybody then.
They were building, they missed each other, you know.
And that was something that I didn't understand. You know, okay, so the dog somehow, some way found its way back from Washington State back to LA.
He resurrected that thing. That's what I thought.
What'd you say?
I thought he resurrected the dog. The dog was a paid actor.
I was lost with that part. I'm like, wait, how's the dog there?
The dog was dead. Little Tank
but
just had a collar and a wish. Didn't he?
Right. So I thought, I really and truly thought that the dog was dead, because that's what they said.
I don't think the dog was dead. I think just like the van showed up in California.
And it was spotless. It was just a wonderful, it was just beautiful. It was glorious. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, wait a minute. Spirit, you're doing a lot here. And why are you traveling so much?
Right. That's the question.
So I'm like, I was curious.
I feel like the friend was dumb too, but
the friend,
Naomi,
Ramona,
right? Naomi, whatever. Yeah. I mean, all that time they spent looking for that damn dog.
Let Tito go.
Let him go.
In the woods. It was a toy poodle.
Okay, I guess I can't talk shit. Yeah.
He was a toy poodle.
Fuck that dog.
Nothing small.
Listen, let me tell you. So I went to a lake with my friend. Her family has a cabin on the lake. And literally, there's not a lot of people on the part of the lake she's on. And this is like one of the biggest lakes in between the United States and Canada. And it's just her. It's like their house and 3 other houses on this side of the lake. You would have to get on the boat, literally, and get to another house if you wanted to. So, like, one day, we're all eating food, and it could be a little creepy. It is creepy at night. This white lady, come out of nowhere. This lady ain't got a flashlight to her name, crying, screaming like a banshee. She like, oh, my dog, what happened to my dog? I can't find my dog. And I was like, you let little Tank out in the forest, bitch? Like, and you thought little Tank was just gonna come back? They got wolves, bears, everything out here. Jasmine Sutherland said, I'm not scared of lions and tigers and bears. And the bears is out there. I was looking at her like, why would you take the leash off? out. She got the dog roaming like the dog of a fucking wolf out here in these streets. The dog is a snack now. So she was never able to find that dog. And I said, R.I.P. to a real one. Because my thing is this. Like, this is like a protected national forest. Not a text. What is it? It's a protected national park. Sorry. And I'm just like, this is
That's
so much. Like, girl, I
Yeah,
would
my
never
dog.
take my dog off the leash. And then I realized this year she got a new dog, did the same thing.
What? She did the same thing.
She ain't learned her lesson.
The dog just hanging out. And the dog almost got these hands because I was coming out of the porta potty situation and the dog rolled up on me. And I said, look here, Pooch, don't roll up on me.
At least train your dog where it'll come back. Like
that dog rolled up on me and she almost went to another funeral. I'm just saying. What I'm saying is, like, I would never, like, you know, what's her name, Ramona? Why would you let Tank out? And I think it was the probably was the little girl helping, probably let him out. But still, you shouldn't have bought. Your friend Angela, I'm assuming maybe not, told you the terrain. And you went and was like, yeah. Like, no, I'm not playing with my child in situations like that.
You're right. I wouldn't be bringing my dog.
You wasn't here earlier when I said my Wi-Fi name is anti-pet activist.
Yeah. I find that so funny.
Oh my gosh.
Not right out of the blaze of glory.
So we've been talking for almost 2 hours. Any closing thoughts? Somebody had asked about the old man out with Tariq, and he was like, I smell whatever on you. What do y'all think about that?
The fact that you smell it, that
because
practice is spiritual, right? If you practice something such as voodoo hoodoo type of practice, I think that you would be more self-aware of what, you know, the curse itself. But if you're closed off, that's not your ministry. And I think it sounded like he practiced voodoo type of thing.
And it sounded, yeah, I got that.
Yeah. Especially because I hybrid read this, and it's, from my understanding, from what I recall, he had like a Jamaican type of accent.
Yeah.
And so I want to say that that's what it was, but it's tied to the fact that he had this belief system, and he was able to sense and smell the curse inside of him.
And he was the only smart one.
The only one.
He said, I play the
how is it that he was the only one?
Yeah. He was the only one.
I was just saying, how, like, why wasn't you the only one? Like, everybody else closed off on everything?
Probably. Because
a lot of people don't practice it, though.
Yeah.
True. A lot of people don't practice voodoo. You know, it used to be a norm, right, for our ancestors to be able to practice hoodoo or voodoo, and now it's like we don't practice it, right? Like that's not our most people's spiritual beliefs. So if you're not tied into it, right, if you're not grounded into that spiritual belief, like why would they be able to sense certain things that's not part of their ministry?
And I think that was part of the contrast that Tananarive dude was trying to make, with Miles being this uber Christian, and with hoodoo and voodoo and spirits that are not like Christian. And I think that was like the contrast that she was trying to make, that you can, regardless of what you practice, you can be blind to what is right there in front of you. And that's just me. But remember, Angela started to smell it.
Yeah. Once you start to accept it.
Yeah. and I thought that was, but still, I still don't think she ever really and truly came around. And maybe I'm wrong.
Like to go back on. I'm not saying my grandma, my father's mom, is out here practicing anything, but like stuff I've gotten from her, I'd be like, you know what, I gotta head out. So I do understand I came in with that bias. Like the moment I went and checked my friend who was downstairs and delirious, I'm gonna have to do something to cleanse this space. I'm gonna have to get up out of here. I'm never coming back. Like, I gotta move around. Like the way that old man responded to old boy, I would have done the same thing. I'm not gonna keep telling you
Exactly.
come holla at me, and then you don't come holla at me, because where I'm from, you can tell somebody's intentions from their eyes. That's how I was raised. Their eyes. Listen, you gotta head out. So for me, and then dreams are very important. So like for me, I would have already had my Nike shoes on, would have been paying attention. There's something, and I also felt like there was a part of like street smarts that was lost on a lot of these characters. It's just, it was not there. Like,
including Rough and Tough Tariq. Because I mean, he was like, even though he was out in the streets, he was a drug addict. He was doing all of these things, getting into fights and stuff. I kind of still felt like he wasn't like street smart.
And his nephew, I was like, he about to be dead upon arrival. Why would you question this man alone?
Yeah.
Alone?
Right.
Oh no,
That
my
ain't
brother,
smart.
uncles, cousins, the fireman truck outside is what I'll be like, hey, you want to talk? You know, I'm not questioning nobody who has erratic behavior and I don't know what's going on. They're literally a different person to me alone.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be part of me being a Black woman, of being like, you know, you can't trust these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? So that could be a part of it too. But alone, a lot of things happen alone. And I was like, y'all out here tripping.
Oh, never. Not alone. No, that's not
by yourself.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. Like, Angela knew that Tariq had bipolar or whatever, had anger management issues, whatever.
Not bipolar. I don't think that's it. But
I don't know. I'm not the psychologist. I'm not the psychologist.
I'm not yet.
How what? Not yet. Not
I'm
ever.
not yet.
No.
I can see you doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Who? Bree?
I can see Bree doing that. She'd be amazing at it.
Yeah.
The cat's out the bag. I am in a program right now, so it's happening.
Yay! Help the community. Okay. Help the community.
Good for you. But I just don't. I question Angela's. I forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing at Monty.
It wasn't half a bottle. It wasn't half a bottle.
I'm supposed to go and get my bottle. I'm laughing at Monty, not on the edge. So you living on the edge?
Yeah. But now I'm out. I'm done.
I'm curious on if you guys rated the book. Erica, I know that you don't really do a rating system.
No, I don't. But I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. And despite it seems like we did talk a lot about what we didn't like, but I did enjoy it.
Yeah, y'all wrong for that. Y'all wrong for that.
What? You were
the only positive. I was like, good vibes. Only.
But
I love the book. Like I said earlier, Black experiences are Black trauma, however you word it, is technically in my vocabulary. horror, and
Thank you.
this
Thank you.
this book was all of that, right? Like,
Mhm.
you got to go in knowing that, and I love her writing style. I love the transitions. The ending was left up to assumptions. I loved it, so I gave it 5 stars. I wouldn't have changed. I loved that. I enjoyed that the characters were ignorant as well. I hated it. It made me angry, but I get it. I get why it was done. So, yeah, I gave it 5 stars.
Yeah. For me, I gave it 4 because this is my first time reading her, so I did not know what to expect. I know Bree, she gave me the heads up on like after the end of after that first chapter, which I still wasn't ready. I think the ending also is what got me because I need a little extra of something. I need something telling me what she had wished for. I can't imagine it because that can be a lot of things. So
Tell me about it.
so it's like that, like it, yeah, it's a 4, but it was still good. I will continue on reading her books.
But all of her books, a lot of her books, you're left up to imagining. So
Yeah,
It
so
didn't have to be
buckle up.
easier.
yeah,
And if you want to tell us off the screen, I ain't with it. We get it.
yeah, we get it for sure.
But
Did you
don't
rate
force
it?
yourself. Huh?
Huh?
You rate it?
I'm not sure, actually. I'm like, for real. I don't know.
What would you have given it if you didn't rate it? What would you have given it?
I think anywhere between a 3.75 to a 5.
That's a pretty wide breath, Brie.
I'm trying to have enjoyment here.
Yeah.
I was just saying that's a pretty wide breath. 3.75 to 5.
Like, if I think about, what's her name? Angela?
Mhm.
If I think about her and the altar, it's a solid 3.75.
Right.
If I think about it as a whole, like, I just need more time.
Yeah.
Even though I read it like a month ago, but still, I need more time.
Yeah. That whole altar thing is extremely annoying but people today, these 2000 babies, I mean, not saying that Angela wasn't, but like, they don't know what an altar is. They don't.
Yeah.
They're never taught on the belief systems that our ancestors had. Hoodoo was a norm. It was a norm, and yeah, but that pisses me off. Yeah, it made me angry. It made me cry. It made me happy.
I was all over the place.
It was really an experience, and like I said, her writing it's a journey.
I wanted to whoop everybody ass and put Corey on punishment. I am who I am.
Corey was more transparent with his mom, but I get that, everything going on.
He wasn't transparent with him.
Yeah, they weren't transparent with him at all. So
Right.
it's a whole. But again, that's Black families are like that, right? Like,
Yeah.
There's no transparency whatsoever.
that's how Black families are. You're a child. You stay in a child's place. You don't come over here. You do you children stuff.
I just had to explain to my family, who almost lit a fire under my ass, but they don't know that I like the heat. To tell them that they don't own their children. They were like, "You ain't gonna tell me that's my motherfucker, and you don't own that human being. Like, what the fuck?
Right.
You can't have expat because I'm your mother. You better do this.
Yeah.
You better chill out for that kid call you a summer month, and now you want to disown the kid. No,
I caught myself doing that once. This is my house, my rules. You gonna do what I say, and I was like, okay, I want you to do X, Y, Z because I had to pull myself back.
But
My ancestors
That
were coming out of me.
Man, that happened to me one time recently with my niece. She did something that I just viewed was stupid as fuck. I'll be honest. And I was like, and she's never in her life, like my nieces and nephews, they don't know angry T.D. Bree. They've never met her. They've never seen her. Because I just be trying not to do what, the elders have done. So she said she did something, and I said, "Okay, G-Shine." And T.D. Bree's confused. She goes, "Why are you confused? Like, it's simple." She's 12. She's like, "Yeah, that makes sense." And I was like, "Okay, walk me through your logic." She goes step by step. I said, "Okay, in step 3, you lost me." I don't even know how we got there. I said, "So since I'm confused about what you did and then you're confused, I think we're having a joint confusion. Would you agree?" She goes, "Yes." I go, "Okay, so now that we have identified the level of confusion we're both are at, how do we get to a place where we're both like, we here? Because I feel like we're there. That's not where we're at, right?" She's like, "We're never there." I'm like, "Cool. So how do we get here? Because I'm confused on what we did." She was like, "Well, I think if I would have said this and then you would have said that." So I said, "We got to work on communication." That's what you're saying. So what's your preferred communication? You want me to text you? You want me to call you? How much details do you need to complete the task? And then she had to let me know like what she needed. And I'm like, "Okay, we got it." Because I was about to go off like what she did. And I was like, "Pull it back, pull it back, pull it back." Figure it out. I was like, "Oh, this girl is gonna be the death of me in my grave for sure."
But I think that goes back to to generational trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes that happens to me. It's
And
how my mom did me.
yeah.
And literally, I have to remember it, like that happening to me. And like even when I talked to my mom about it, she really was like we all agree on. There's no transparency. It's just brushed aside.
Yeah.
And so I'm aware of it. It's just having to hone it in because you've seen it your whole life. And so it's like I try to do that with my kids. I try to hone it back in. But then I go somewhere and try to let it out somewhere else though.
You be testing
I
us,
be
man.
letting loose. My daughter tests me, and sometimes I gotta let loose, and I'm like, "You go over there because you about
Yeah, I be telling like Kiana, go upstairs. Like go upstairs, go upstairs.
Like my daughter's grounded right now, and like I had to set the standards. Like, okay, this is what you did. Do you think this is okay, etc. Now these are your consequences. She already knows about choices. We've been talking about it since she was 2, but like I had to really sit down with her and have her understand I'm not just a mom. I'm a human being. I have my own stuff going on. I got to de-escalate. I got to de-escalate myself. So I'm going to need you to just walk away and respect the fact that I'm really upset, and we'll talk about it in a second. So because I be yelling, I'm like, "Go over there."
Yeah, I be like that too. And then sometimes I end up in tears because it makes me feel like, damn, I'm sounding like my mom right now.
Yeah. That's hurtful.
Like, my God, it hurts me so much.
I haven't got to that place yet. I haven't got to that place. Like, I just be like, okay. Because I really back in, and then I start to explain like, okay, X, Y, Z. This is what I need you to understand. This is what your consequences. This is what your actions are. I need you to talk to me about this and why you're in trouble. I need you to think about it. Come back to me with a plan, and then, But in the moment, oh no, I don't feel bad. Yeah, I haven't got to that point of like
happening for me.
Like them.
Yeah, my sister loves to do this. She'll call me, "Bree, get your niece.
Yeah.
Get your niece.
That's me.
Or I'm gonna lose it." Like, get your nephew. Can you believe your nephew texts me this? Mm-hmm. And then I call him. My nephew is infuriated. He is pissed. He's like, "T.D. Bree, I already know why you calling me, but I just have to explain my side." I'm like, "Go ahead, nephew." I'm like, "So I see the point. I get it. there's an elder thing. Maybe that wasn't the right choice of words to speak to your mom. Let's let's workshop other alternative what we could say via text, because she's at a point right now where talking to her is going to escalate the situation. So let's figure out a way to communicate with her in a way that might be receptive, because right now she's knucking and she's bucking, and she's almost ready to fight. So what we gonna will it next?
That was me yesterday. Like literally, I was just like, I can't. So my daughter writes notes to me. I'm so thankful that she is a reader and a writer, because she'll write notes, she'll set it on my bed, and I'll write a response, and then I'll push it underneath her door. And I'm like, that's our form of communication, because otherwise, if I look at you, I remember what you did, and I'm a this close from letting loose. So yeah, we've chosen other forms of communication because I just can't. I can't sometimes. But I'm also a single parent, so I don't have like the option of just like pushing her off on, to get a break to be able to de-escalate. So, we just gotta go our sides of the room, our sides to the apartment, and like, de-escalate that way. So I get it. And I saw a lot of like those traits in The Good House. So again, Black experiences is tied to horror. I really hope that she comes out with more books. Sometimes
I don't know if she came out with anything recent, right? Do we know?
She has a book coming out later this year. That she co-wrote with, I want to say, her husband, and it's someone else, but it's a middle grade. I want to say it's not a horror.
Come on, Reeve.
I know. I still want to read Devil's Wake. That she co-wrote with Stephen Barnes. So she's definitely an autobi author. I know she's not for everyone, but she's definitely an autobi author for me.
Her and Brandon Massey, I would buy anything. I swear, I'm like,
That's another read along right there, Brandon Massey. I've only read one of his books.
So you gonna set that up, Brie?
I probably will at some point in my life. Because listen, I kind of want to email him and be like, hey, you down for another interview? Because I got questions, okay?
His books are not easy to find either. I mean,
they're on Kindle. Oh, you mean like physical copies?
Physical copies.
Oh yeah, I only got them off of Thrift Books. That's the only place I find them. Most of them are there.
Okay. I'll look into that.
Especially like his backlist, but like newer stuff, I don't know if he has physical copies of them. Like I would love a physical copy of Nana. I low-key want to download Nana and read it again because baby, top star.
I think I read Frenzy. I want to say it's called Frenzy.
Yeah, Frenzy. That's not super old, but it's a part of his backlist. He came out with a book 3 days ago called The Exorcist, and I'm like, what's that about?
Oh,
yeah, I got that email. I was like,
yes. I love that.
She has
some good Black horror authors, and
yeah, Jean Nicole Rivers is really good too. I wish she got more time. Yeah, because her Black Water series is good. Oh,
she hasn't had a book since 2012, and it was some South by Southeast with Blair Underwood and Stephen Barnes, and it's a mystery.
I know she busy.
She teaching.
No, she is
writing.
No, she busy. She booked and busy, as they say.
Yeah, she has a whole. She does I know she does podcasts. She teaches, and then she also writes maybe for the New York Times or something like that.
Well, she does write short stories too. So
yeah.
A
publishing, yeah. She just has that one book coming out this year.
Okay.
You're gonna read it soon?
You want to
Adrian? Oh, I was talking to Adrian, being like, she's gonna read it soon. But I don't even know. Yeah, for Brandon Massey. Brandon Massey has a lot of books.
He does.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of books. He puts out at least 1 to 2 books every year
Huh.
on Kindle. So you're not hurting.
You're right.
He, he's kind, and then like I remember in the interview, I was like, "How do you write the books?" He's like, "I come up with the story, I write it, I send it." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Well done.
That response. I love that.
Yeah, he was like, "Yeah, it's done." He's like, "Some things sit, and I gotta wait on it, but for the most part, I'm out." I
I
just love how he writes about Black women. I will never get over it. I'm like, wow, this is this is not creepy and misogynistic AF. Like he could have some characters. He's done that too. I just haven't read those books yet.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So, any final thoughts?
I'm like looking at Bree's shelf in the back. Black cake. I can't do it.
Yeah.
Final strife. I don't think I could do that. What's that? I'm trying to see what
Which one?
fire of the furnace. Fire of the vengeance. The furnace, the rage of the dragons. Who's that? Iron Widow? Is that the author?
This is Evan Winters.
Okay,
Evan
well,
Winters.
that was what I meant.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. I gotta read the between. I also have. I only have one Stephen Barnes book, and that's Blood Brothers by Stephen Barnes.
Yeah, I don't have any. That makes me a fake fan of the genre.
Completely fake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, not tonight, Adrian. You in your bag, huh? You in your bag. Love to see it.
So Monty thinks 2 books a year is 1 book too many.
Monty, I'm ready to throw them bows, and I hope you know how to fight.
Right.
Because
That's what we want to see with Black authors in a genre that is limited. Like not many Black authors write horror, so we want him to continue to write 2 books. We need those options.
yeah,
So yeah, I can't wait till Black Queen-a-thon.
I'm excited.
me too. I'm
excited.
wondering what's happening.
I'm dead.
I'm dead.
Listen, I was supposed to send all 3 of you a link 4 weeks ago. I made a link for y'all to do something.
A whole bunch of stuff.
You gave us a link.
I was supposed to.
Oh,
It
wait,
was in this moment that I realized, because I was looking at the link yesterday. I said, "Wow, these hosts don't give a fuck." And then I realized I didn't send it. So really, I'm a fake fan of myself. So Erica, I did come up with a plan for that, but there was a big part of that plan that I still have not done. I'm gonna talk to y'all off camera.
Okay.
But I just feel like depressia is me, and she really got me in a hole. That bitch got me in a hole, and I'm trying to release from depression so I can go ahead and do the Lord's work. And anxiety got me shaking in a Costco of all places, not bulk buying. Not you got me in here losing my shit. Not you a pacifist. I hope you know how to fight, Mr. Pacifist. Razor Dragons. Literary Lady One, I need you to end this live and exit left. I cannot believe you said that about one of my favorite books of all time. I'm hurt. You see this blasphemous?
Mm-hmm.
It's blasphemy. No way around it.
Lala is supposed to be reading that sometime soon, right? I think she said.
And if Lala hates it, I could no longer be seen publicly with her. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to head out. Don't DM me no more. And I'm not gonna DM you no more. I have to head out. I can't be a part of Lala's world no more.
I need to
I'm
read
gonna
it
head
so
out.
bad. I have it in my cart right now because I think it's on sale for like $14 right now. I want the physical copy because that cover is stunning.
You seem pretty okay with them, Monty. You know what I find interesting about Black Queen-a-thon is people already got lists. I say, how y'all got a list and I got one? Nobody's got their list.
They got tired of waiting on you.
Especially on Twitter, man. I remember one person in April was like, hey, just trying to get my books together for Black Queen-a-thon. Is that happening this year? I was like, April?
So what you need to do is have a thing like halfway through the year,
like an announcement,
like a little mini one, like a weekend one.
I did one and no one participated.
Because I didn't know about it.
I didn't know about it.
I didn't know about it.
I did one. No one participated.
Are you sure?
Actually, I'm not.
I'm like, wait, what?
But in her head, she put it out there for the peoples to know. But in her head,
it could have been very much me, myself, and I. That's all I got in the end, and that's what I found out.
mm-hmm.
I'm just asking because I know you've had a lot going on.
Oh God.
And it could have,
Yeah, you're moving and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I just feel bad that I have no concrete plans for Black Queen-a-thon right now. Like I had plans, and I realized none of them is feasible.
All we need are prompts.
Right.
That's all we need.
Yeah. I like to give people an experience.
Well, I mean, sometimes the experience.
I will say it will not be as big as it was last year because I did a little too much. We can all attest to that.
I mean, that's all good.
Yeah. I'm still looking forward to it.
Not for the streets. You're not a spooky girly. Monty, you're now a co-host. Welcome to the crew. I'm gonna send you the link. Be there, be square. Thank you. Thank you, Mom. But that's the thing. I have a lot of romance readers. Not saying that you are a romance reader, Monty, who have fine suspense and romance. That counts too.
Yeah.
The author got to be Black, and macabre has to be a part of it. One sound, one band.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what is it called? Whispers, I think is that short collection. Something about whispers.
Yeah.
Who wrote The Wicked Fate? Do we know? No, not 1%. Shawty. About to head out. Well, if it head out, I don't know what to say. Okay, there we go. Man, I'm literally sweating like a sinner in church.
Oh, The Wicked Fate is the follow-up to The Poison Heart.
Yeah.
Oh, Kaylin Barron, I assume.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read her book and I was mad that I didn't get a kiss scene into page 272. Don't ask me why I remember that, but I was pissed. I was like, Kaylin, really? I put it in my review and everything. I said, you had us waiting. We had to live with that burn of desire for 207. The audacity, really.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Black Queen-a-thon also scares me. Let's end it so abruptly. Yeah.
All right. It's almost 10:30. Well, it's almost a half hour, 30.
Yeah, and I gotta inform these folks.
So, um, final thoughts. Final thoughts. Final thought, am officially living in a dry house, which is unacceptable.
What you mean it's dry? You ain't got a humidifier?
She meant her wine.
Oh. Damn. That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
Oh man. My final thoughts are: this is not a book I would recommend for it to be your first time, but it's still a really, really good book. And just be open to, transitions, Black trauma, aka horror, Black experience horror, and imagination.
Damn, not Poison Heart. Not you ain't hear no good things about it.
I need to know the circles that Monty runs in.
What happened? I didn't hear good things about. Yeah, I don't know.
But final thoughts. Bree with an 1E and or Brandy with an IE.
I'm good.
Yep. Same.
All right. You're welcome, Monty, for the entertainment.
Thank you.
I'm glad you stopped by.
Really.
And welcome to the co-hosting of Black Aweenathon. Look forward
to seeing you on the roster. Monty's like, I'm gonna hide. I can't.
Let's see. Poison Heart. All right. I think that's for you, Bree.
I am not home. I wish I was home.
At least 3 videos.
That made me sad.
All right. Well, it is. I guess that's the end. Nobody has anything else?
You really dragging this.
I'm trying not to.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Have a good night.
Like, any other thoughts?
Have a good night.
Any other thoughts?
That's all right.
Any other thoughts?
Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.